Hello everyone. I'm going to walk you quickly through, or as quickly as possible, through our slides that we've been working with, through the information that we've been working with when it comes to 21st century learning in a 21st century environment. Hopefully this will get you caught up to speed on anything that you maybe missed out when you were sitting there listening a couple weeks during professional development, sitting for a long time listening and trying to pay attention and trying to figure out where we were headed with this learning. So hopefully this will be a nice little refresher. So here we go. I'm going to move the screen here, and wow, this is what you guys came up with as far as your current instructional structures allow for. They allow for collaboration, interactive learning, student autonomy, creativity, flexibility, differentiated learning opportunities, movement, teamwork, and fun. So think about our 80-minute block of time next year. This is what we're going to try and accomplish with our instructional structures, instructional time structures that we put in place in our classroom. Remember, the goal is to match what we have here on this screen. All right, moving on. Our next slide. This right here was all about we need to devote time towards problem solving and researching ways that we can create instructional structures that will promote everything mentioned in this learning environment word cloud that we all created together. So our end goal is to create classroom environments that encourage and allow high levels of learning to take place. So that is what this is all about, making us think about how we're going to do that and using what we've already identified as how our classrooms were designed as a way to get there and do that. So go ahead and look through this instructional time structure lens now. So that's what this is all about. And you begin your learning journey by thinking about how you're going to enter your new learning space. So next year from the instructional standpoint. And just keep in mind the three things mentioned above when you're looking through this lens. So before we begin in this journey, those are three really important things to remember. That we're not talking about changing everything that we're doing. It's just really focusing in on our needs. And the way that we're doing that is we're pinpointing areas that we can improve. So moving on to the next type. So this is where you're ready to begin your journey. So here's your driving question that you are trying to answer with this little research project in the end. And when you reach your goal, which is your destination, you'll be able to answer this question by creating and explaining an example instructional structure that provides high levels of learning to take place. So the main thing is to make sure that you're not losing sight of your driving question along the way. So just keep going back to that driving question. What am I doing? Well, I'm researching and trying to figure out, an example of one way that I can come up with an instructional structure that's going to provide the highest level of learning for my students in my classroom. All right, so this one is all about helping you get started with this learning journey. So you've been given an instructional structure to begin with that includes these 6 essential elements. Are these essential elements mind-blowing? No, they are not mind-blowing. They're basic structure elements that you can work with and add to. So these are the ones that we're saying that can be consistent all throughout our secondary. I see these, right, in every classroom within our secondary. And you must add to these provided structure elements, though, by inserting your structure elements within these 6 that meet your instructional needs in your classroom. So again, you're identifying your needs and you're figuring out, okay, what can I insert into these 6 different pieces of my overall structure to meet those needs. So of course your instructional needs are based on research. They're such as your data, your feedback, best practice research. You spend time identifying these needs along your learning journey. Last time we met and this time, so that you can answer your driving question and create your example mashup structure in the end. So why is this a mashup? Well, you're mashing together the structure elements that you've been given, these 6 IC pieces, and your other structure elements that you need, that you research to get your overall structure. That's why this is a mashup. All right, and this one right here. So this is just an overview. Excuse me. This is an overview of your learning journey, in case you're wondering where you might be headed. There's essential stops along the way where you'll need to be asked to spend some time figuring out information that's going to help you reach your destination. And this is just your overall picture right here of where you're headed on this journey. A lot of decisions that are going to have to be made by you along the way, a lot of thinking, and keep in mind your destination there in the bright green. That's where you want to end up at the end of your time, so that you have something to work with. So here's just some Q&A for you to go over. You don't have to spend much time on this, just basic questions that'll help you kind of make sense of this learning journey along the way. And again, these are continued right here. So hopefully that kind of helps some of you with your questions. So spend some time on that if you need to. But now that you have your driving question, your instructional structure elements that you'll be adding to in the end when you come to this awesome mashup, your destination creation goal, and you have a good picture of all your essential stops you'll be making, you are now ready to go. So good luck, have fun. This is your time to figure out how you can create learning structures that allow for high levels of learning to take place. But remember that the majority of you will have 80 minutes. 80-minute chunks of time, I should say, that you'll be working with next year. And a few of you will have shorter chunks of time that you'll be structuring for learning. But honestly, no matter how much time you have, it needs to promote the same kind of learning as our word cloud states. So no matter how much time you have, you can still identify needs and you can still improve your instructional structure time. But just keep in mind, the majority of you are looking at this 80-minute chunk of time, and that's what you're spending your time on, is figuring out, okay, ways to improve different areas to make sure that you're comfortable with utilizing this amount of time that you have with your kids. Okay, so back to, I'm going to go on to here. Learning journey time. So come back here as often as you need. So don't forget why you're doing all this research and all this thinking and everything else, because this is your driving question that's driving all of your learning that's been taking place. And this document right here on this screen, this is where you're going to document your thinking as you go. And you're learning as you go. So this is an important document, so make sure that to document as much as you can. You can get this through Schoology. Just make a copy of it and it'll automatically share it with me if you haven't already done so. But other than that, like if you would happen to click on this link, well, you still need to make a copy of it, but then you're going to have to actually share it with me because it's not going to be automatically shared with me. So just make sure that you can see that it's shared with me, with my email. So, and then these resources are to help you answer your question and think through the essential stops along the way. So this is a good document to keep open as you go, because, well, you have your other document on the side that you're documenting your information on, and then you'll have this one open on your screen as well. And so this is going to help you move through that stop number 1 and make you think about what stands out to you on this list that you could possibly, add to your end instructional structure piece that you're going to be researching. So this is just our overall answers from our kids, and this is based on your guys' feedback that you gave through the Flipgrid. So that's where this came up with. That's where we came up with this. You're going to use these same questions that are on your other document as a way of tracking your thoughts for stop number 2. So answer these questions on your other document as you go. And then stop number 3. This is the one that I probably have the most information to throw at you. So listen if you haven't been listening, please. This is a biggie, right? So before you begin this stop number 3, look back over number 1 and number 2, and you want to highlight your top areas of needs or interests at this point. So you're going to do that. Then you're going to try to associate these within areas of the 6 IC essential structure elements. So you remember, we have those 6 IC elements that I said were not mind-blowing. No, they're not innovative. You are the innovator in all of this. Just keep that in mind, because you're going to be creating the mashup, like something new, something different, making it better, right? Okay, so don't forget that. This may help you focus your attention as you read. So by looking at 1 and 2, it's going to help you focus your attention about structures in this research article that you're going to read about in stop number 3. So then you're going to read through this slide, then answer the questions on the other document as you're going. The first question is asking for your areas of need or interest thus far. So once you've answered this, then you can click and read the article listed on the slide. So then this article is super helpful when trying to create a structure for your classroom learning time. And it does hit on the 80-minute blocks. It gives suggestions for that. So there are sure to be ideas that match what you've identified as your needs this far. But who knows, maybe you'll find something that interests you but doesn't exactly match what you've identified. That's okay. This might take you in a different direction and help you figure out something that you can integrate into that overall structure that's going to really be exactly what you need in the end, and what your kids need, I should say, in the end. And it's going to match maybe one of those ICs that you're interested in learning more about. So don't be afraid to try something out that you find in this article that seems a bit risky or different to you. You're going to spend time learning about the structure element that you choose. Once you find some ideas you want to try out, it's time to move to the next phase of this learning process and start putting together your structure mashup. So remember, your mashup may look completely different from other mashups. That's completely fine. As long as you can explain how the structure is intended to create an environment that promotes and allows for high levels of learning, which is our driving question, remember, to take place, then you are completely great. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're spending time on all of this. And I hope that you all understand that. This is our time to improve our structures in our classroom. We all have areas that we can improve. All of us. And I am so excited after reading through the first documents that have been already started. And there are so many different areas that have been identified where people want to spend time researching and, looking for better ideas to integrate in with their current structure or create new structures to make it even better. And that's what this is all about. That I really hope that you understand that. That's what this is all about, is making our classrooms that much better, that much more engaging for our students, and hopefully even getting to that empowerment level. That's my goal, at least, right? Is for our kids to come in, learn, and feel empowered as they are learning in our classrooms. So there are a few other things that I'm going to throw at you here in just a few minutes. But that's going to be in a different video because it's about the creation and the sharing is kind of different. But I wanted to make sure that you had this to make sure that you're on track with what you're doing for this research project, that you are totally personalizing and making it your own and making the decision about what you spend your time on. And also understand that this is a model. This is a model for what you could use in your own classroom when you want to add more choice and voice and, personalization for how what your kids are learning. But you're using the same structure for everyone to get to their own identified piece of learning. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon about the other couple phases of this learning process.